Donald Sutherland sadly passed away on the 20th of June 2024. He is seen here with his son Kiefer, speaking about when they worked together on the 2015 film Forsaken. One of my favourite actors, he lit up the screen in every one of the roles that he entertained us with. Whether it was villain or hero, he could effortlessly switch between these roles to bring either menace or warmth. It's no secret to anyone who listens or watches our podcast over the years that I think his performance as Hawkeye Pierce in Robert Altman's 1970 movie MASH is one of my top three, genuinely capturing magic in a bottle. But before we get to that, let's go back to the beginning. Some of his early roles included guest appearances in The Avengers with Diana Rigg and Castle of the Living Dead, where he played 3 different roles in the same movie. It was only when he got the role of Sergeant Pinkley in The Dirty Dozen that he caught the eye of an inquisitive Hollywood. Sutherland was drafted in as a last-minute replacement and said of the turn of events, "I had a kind of meandering little career, and then I was given a chance to play one of the bottom 6 in The Dirty Dozen. I originally only had one line in the whole film. Number 2, sir." It was this performance that brought him to the attention of Robert Altman, who cast him in one of the main roles in his movie MASH as Hawkeye Pierce, with his unique whistle and his famous speech to Hot Lips O'Houlihan about ruining his fresh lobster and mapping out their sexual future. It makes sense when Sutherland said that making the film was chaotic but done under the umbrella of Altman's vision. He also said, MASH has done well because it has somehow, in its own specific, managed to catch the general trend of everyone in North America, and in France too, and in England, he said. It's also a new thing in film. Most of the work in the film is improvised. Intellectually, it projected the feelings of an awful lot of people about an awful lot of things. It showed the concept of war without showing war, the late actor added of the film. In other words, in MASH, war is like that. It's a solid circular thing which is volatile and has a lot of activity. But the picture, the film that we make, surrounded that. You didn't see any of that. In the same year, he then makes another leap into the military when he starred as Oddball in Kelly's Heroes, a role that a lot of people remember him for pushing an entertaining film into one to definitely remember. Then came Clute that he made with Jane Fonda. Sutherland and Fonda developed a non-exclusive romantic relationship off-screen, which lasted until about June 1972. He was her date to the Oscars, where she won Best Actress for this movie. Even the start of the relationship sounds like something out of a film, the noir movie scene. We'd already been cast, but not started shooting, and one day she made it very clear, via a somewhat provocative suggestion, that I should come home with her, and I just said, "OK," recalled Sutherland, and they also bonded over the shared love of activism. In fact, the duo even went on their own anti-Vietnam War tour, filming a documentary about their travels the whole while through. Then came the chilling supernatural thriller Don't Look Now, which he made with Julie Christie, that surely has one of the best final scenes ever, with a twist and a half. You'll never see a redcoat the same way ever again. Then, in between acting in The Eagle Has Landed, alongside Michael Caine and Robert Duvall, and then the film that produced 1,000 memes, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, came one of my favourite short cameos where he played Professor Jennings in National Lampoon's Animal House, uttering the lines when asked by his student, Boone, about his book. "Teaching is just a way to pay the bills until I finish my novel. How long have you been working on it? 4.5 years. It must be very good. It's a piece of shit. Would anyone like to smoke some pot?" In 1980, he starred in Ordinary People alongside Mary Tyler Moore and Timothy Hutton, who won Best Supporting Actor. This hard-hitting story of a family in terminal decline surely meant a Best Actor Oscar for him, but sadly it was not to be. After a fairly quiet 80s, apart from a memorable appearance as the scientist in Kate Bush's Cloudbusting video, he popped up alongside Sylvester Stallone, playing a vengeful and sadistic prison governor in 1989's Lock Up. This was to begin a new phase of Donald Sutherland's career, with him playing the arsonist Ronald Bartel in Backdraft, alongside Robert De Niro and Kurt Russell. Who can forget his line about what he wants to do to the world? Burn it all. And then on to the quite mesmerising and compelling depiction of the real-life whistleblower X in Oliver Stone's 1991 epic JFK. I think I watched this so many times I know it off by heart. Such is the passion in his delivery. A short stop off as Merrick in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie with Christy Swanson, then moved him on to the movie adaptation of 6 Degrees of Separation alongside Stockard Channing and a breakout role for Will Smith. This is a masterclass in acting from all involved and definitely needs watching. Moving on to 1994, he gave one of my favourite performances as the scheming and Machiavellian tech boss Bob Garvin in the movie adaptation of Michael Crichton's water cooler book Disclosure. While the main stars were Michael Douglas and Demi Moore, and the subject matter quite controversial, a woman sexually harassing her junior, it was the sly determination to manage out of the problem that made such an unforgettable role. A quick stop as the army boss that wants to bury a secret in Outbreak alongside Dutton Hoffman. Taking a break from motion pictures, he then moved to be part of some of the most amazing television of the early 2000s. 2005 series Commander-in-Chief saw Gina Davis become the president, but it was Donald Sutherland as Nathal Templeton, the Speaker of the House, stealing the whole show. His seething resentment of someone who felt like it should have been him meant he was the perfect choice. Then, in 2007, he played the patriarch of one of New York's wealthiest families in Dirty Sexy Money alongside Jill Clayburgh and William Baldwin. Backstabbing, affairs and luxury, well worth a watch if you can find it on streaming. In 2015, he had the chance to work with his son Kiefer in the western Forsaken, and putting these two together seems like such an obvious choice, but needs to be watched for some of the best acting you'll see that year. Lastly, most millennials and Gen Zs will remember him from the film adaptations of the book series The Hunger Games, where he played President Snow. While it not being my thing, I feel I may need to go and watch them, even if it's just for him, as I'll be missing out if I don't. Most actors, I feel, come and go. You might have found some of their films entertaining, but sometimes they can be instantly forgettable. This is not a phrase you can use to describe Donald Sutherland. Versatile, definitely. Likeable, 100%. Dedicated to each and every role. Donald Sutherland, you will be missed by a great many. Thank you for all the entertainment, thrills and laughs.